Sometimes you win, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the end. There's a world outside of you. Lose won't haunt you anymore. For the brave are free and love and soul. Come ride with me to the distant shore. If you don't hesitate to break down the garden gate, there's not much time left today. Life is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long.
Ooh, look at that hawk. Did you see the hawk? No, and it just flew up from the ground into the tree.
All night long. All these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood, it's all around. I love you now, like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the hands. From Mozambique to those Memphis nights, the kind of path been Cuba's life. So let me down to hell again. You're in my blood, I know the man. There's no road I can roll, the road's so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Just tell me where, so
I don't know where we're going again.
I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, yeah. Love is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long. Yeah. If you're going my way,
Are we doing on time? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome to the drive. We are so excited to be on here with you guys today, just checking in to see how you're doing for our normal Saturday morning episode of the drive. This is Kat Hoyer, my partner in crime, and everything else that's good and bad in life.
And this is my partner in crime, Brenda Colter. And today's episode of The Drive is the fear factor. We're going to talk about fear.
We're going to dig a little bit deep into fear. It's kind of something we've been talking about. Want to get you guys' input and also give you guys some tools to overcome fear. But not before we tell you who won last week, the Share the Drive contest.
If we had more people this time than last time, so thank you for everyone who did hashtag share the drive. And we even had someone that we haven't really advertised a whole bunch that were on YouTube. We're downloading these onto YouTube. So thank you, LT, for sharing the YouTube video as well.
Thank you, LT.
And we'll be, we'll share that more as we upload other content to that. But yeah, so this is everyone. Sure.
Shaking it up.
All right. Oh, and we know what they're winning, right?
Oh, today you will win a SYLC Consulting mug, and you will also win a copy of our book.
Okay, who is it?
Sequoia Finney. Yay! You won, Sequoia. And just so you guys know, if you share it to we had people share it to multiple platforms. So if you share it to multiple places, multiple pages,
groups,
you get entered multiple times. So Sequoia, you won. I'll probably just bring you yours.
So that's interesting because last week Shelly Dryman won, and she also shared it twice. So just so happens when you get your name in there twice, apparently it really helps. I was going to turn there, but I guess I still can.
I was going to say you can. The fear factor. So I don't even know where we actually want to start. We want to talk about first fear of failure. When it comes to getting anything done, anything that you want to get done or that you feel like you have a drive to get done, we were starting to realize that there are things that kind of keep us from doing things that we are perfectly excited about doing, and then kind of had to dig down deep inside to figure out, we were so excited about this, why are we not doing it?
Well, let's talk a little bit about kind of how even the conversation started, because we were going to do something completely different on this third episode.
Right.
And we decided to do this because one of the things was this show. We've been talking about either doing a podcast or doing something like this, like you were saying, but we kept not doing it. And I will say one thing was the help of a coach, having Justin Kappen, who we work with as our business coach, having that accountability was super helpful. But then, why weren't we doing it before? It's beyond just accountability.
Right.
That's when fear came up. So, so why? Why were we afraid? So I don't know if I probably just said kind of the same thing you did, but differently.
That's why why we work so well. That's why we work, kid. So in figuring out, like, we kind of talked through it and we steered our way through it, but I kind of wanted to give this morning, as we were sort of talking about the show and what we were going to do. I'm sorry, y'all. I got...
Oh, hi.
It slid all the way over. But I got to thinking a lot about fear and realizing that the first thing that we had to do was kind of be self-aware and realize that's what it was. Because in order to realize why you're not doing something or why it is that something's not being accomplished, you really have to dig deep inside yourself and figure out exactly why is this. So we definitely had to develop a sense of self-awareness as far as that went. And then
I think that's the first step to anything, don't you? Self-awareness?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like and what's this? You have a stat, I know you do, on how many people think that they're self-aware and how many people actually are?
Oh, yeah. So 95% of the population believe that they are self-aware. Only 12% actually are. 12 to 15% actually are.
So, and I don't mean to go like way off topic on that, but if you think you're self-aware and you don't have that self-awareness, if you're part of the 12%, no, you do have you're part of the, what's the math on that?
I'm not mathing that. 80 some odd something.
Okay, so
something.
If you're part of the bigger percentage, we don't math well. So if you're part of the bigger percentage that isn't self-aware, like, what are your thoughts on how to become self-aware?
Well, I really think that it takes what made me realize that I hadn't reached the level of self-awareness that I wanted to be at is that I started to realize that I was having the same issues with different people.
Oh, okay.
And I started going, if you are having this same issue with so many different people, you're probably the problem.
What's the common denominator?
Right, the common denominator was me. And then in learning that I'm the only thing that I can control in most situations anyways, I was like, okay, so what can I do now? So it really just took me realizing that I wasn't self-aware and making a conscious decision to challenge my own thoughts and beliefs.
So I think learning steer is what makes you self-aware. And not to like for real, not to totally plug that, but it's that thought awareness. Like, right. I'm wondering what I'm thinking, and then when you start going, oh wow, I'm the only one standing in my way,
right,
and challenging those thoughts.
That's that whole self-sabotage.
The shirt, don't believe everything you think. So yeah, I think, wow, that we didn't really plan that part of the conversation.
We did it.
But I'm glad we said that, because I think honestly, because I'm thinking about when did I become more self-aware? Because for a long time I blamed everyone, my situation, this is what's going on because of my job, or it's going on because of these people. This person did that person did that. So I was blaming everyone else.
Well, think about how much easier that is than actually taking responsibility and doing the work. Because when you blame other people, you can say they are the reason that this is a problem and I can't control them, so there's nothing I can do about it. Whereas when you have to say, you know what, I'm probably the problem, and now I actually have to do the work to fix whatever it is that's going on. That's a tough thing.
So, and that's something that I know Deanna talks about a lot in her coaching, is that people, like, not everybody's ready for this too.
Absolutely.
You have to be ready for some of this stuff. So anyway,
kind of touched on that last week too. So yeah. You got to be ready. You got to know yourself.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take that totally off track.
It's okay. But one thing that I thought about when it came to the fear of failure is, what is the anatomy of this fear? Like, where does the fear of failure, what's the body of it? What makes it up, and why is it so prevalent? And I came up with 3 I's off the cuff this morning, so bear with me. The first I was image. We worry about what we will look like to other people. What are they going to think about me if I don't accomplish this thing that I said I was going to accomplish? What are other people going to think? The second one was inadequacy. When we set out to do certain things and we don't get to accomplish those things, we often feel inadequate. Oh, I suck. I'm horrible. Why could I not do this? And then the third I is irksome. It just sucks to fail. It just sucks to not succeed and to feel like you have not succeeded at something. So if you take those 3 I's and kind of break them down one by one, which I think will take probably more time than we have today.
Well, but I think we should break them down a little bit, because I think it's important to go, what, like the fear of what people think.
Right.
So how do you get around? Because we wouldn't have done this show. I'm going to watch my language. If we would not have done this show if we care what people think. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Not that we don't care at all. I don't think that, but you can't let that stop you.
I was gonna say, because you have to realize that it's okay that people are gonna think things. People have their opinions, and that's fine. I'll take myself for instance. Hang on, Charles said something really cool. He said it's easier to put on a pair of slippers than to try and carpet the whole world. I love that.
Oh, good one.
I love that. That is really awesome. So with me, like with going on video was it was very difficult for me.
Right.
Like I look in the mirror and I look a certain way, and for me I look totally different on camera, and I was like, honey, like what is happening?
I can't rewatch these because I'll be too critical.
Right. And
I'll listen to them, but I won't watch them.
How I worked it out was I went, people look at you every day. They know what you look like. It's not their fault if you don't know what you look like. This is what people see when they look at you. And once you start talking, you know what you're talking about. It completely works out.
So for me, it's a little different. Mm-hmm. I think, I know this is, I think in quotes. And I know that this was one that didn't mean anything to me for a while until it did. And it was, what other people think of me is none of my business. Because it really isn't. It's not. There's also one that says, well, that's a little bit different. Reputation is what. No, never mind. I can't remember it. I'll look it up and find it and maybe put it in the comments later. But anyway, I think you have to go. It really doesn't matter. And I think we have a mission too. That's the other thing. The mission is way bigger than what other people think. A few people thinking XYZ. We know that we want to help people by learning how to steer. So that's, to me, more important. So that's the one, because I feel like that's the biggest one.
The image, what people will think.
Yeah, I feel like that's why.
Not to mention, what helps me is knowing that everybody fails at some point. So the same people who are pointing their finger and they're judging you, they failed at something as well. So, they're not 100% fear-proof or fail-proof either.
So I think two things. One is you have to change how you feel about failure, right?
Ooh,
so there's the fear of failure. You have to, because for me, it changed. I was listening to a podcast from the Life Coach School where Brooke Castillo was talking about fear of failure. And for me, failure means I'm trying. Because for a long time, I didn't even try. I literally for 3 years I just consumed a lot of information, but I didn't put myself out there and do anything about it.
What's that saying? So, nothing beats a fail but a try or something. I don't know. I jacked it up. Well, it's basically just saying that nothing is worse than failing than not trying.
Right.
If you don't try, then so it's like that whole fail forward. You ever see that Will Smith video?
Yeah.
Fail forward. If you fail, then know that that's just another way to propel you forward, and you know what not to do.
Right. Yeah. So I think reframing how you think about it and whatever works for you, because what worked for me may not work for somebody else. They might not go, well, at least it means I'm trying. That might not be super exciting.
That ties it back into the self-awareness, being aware of what you need in order to succeed.
Yes. Yeah. And being honest about it. Because for a long time, so my love language is words of affirmation. And for a long time, I fought that. I'm like, I shouldn't need someone to say nice things, about me or to me to feel good.
Right.
Well, you know what? That's my love language. And that's how I'm wired. And
you have to think you don't survive off of those words of affirmation. You thrive off of them, which is a little bit different. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
You don't need them in order to breathe, but you excel when you get those. So I think that's okay.
That's that's good. I can go around this guy. The other thing that I wanted to say about people and what they say and stuff like that, and then we'll get off this because we can do a whole show just on this.
I told you more than we had time for today.
I know, sorry, and I did it anyway. But I think Brene Brown talks about it's actually something that she quoted from someone else. The man in the mirror, man in the arena.
I'm looking.
No,
okay.
The man in she didn't quote Michael Jackson. It was I don't know. I want to say Roosevelt. But oh my gosh, you guys, I'm a little embarrassed that I don't know who it is. But anyway, it's basically if you're not in here getting bloody, then because she got a lot of criticism for doing her TED Talk. In the arena, the man in the arena, it's about, like, I'm in here doing this, and unless you're in here doing this, then you don't, I mean, obviously this is something different for different people, but,
I feel you.
like, you don't have, I don't need to listen, I don't mean it like that, but I'm trying to, like, kind of, I'm not gonna filter this. If you're not in here doing what we're doing, then
don't judge it.
Or no, I don't care if they judge it. I can't care unless somebody's in here doing the same thing we're doing, and their words are meant to, like, help and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, no, I feel you. I do. Absolutely. I think that's when we tell people, like, don't take advice from someone. Like, people always go, I want somebody who's going through the same thing as me. Like, no, you want somebody who has endured and overcome the same thing.
Came through on the other side.
Right. They came through on the other side, because somebody who's going through, I mean, we can sit and, like, wallow and cry together, but you can't help me climb over this hump because you haven't climbed over it yourself yet. So you get through it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I just need a good cry with some good friends, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But I have to know what my intentions are, and I have to make sure that ultimately my ultimate goal is to overcome this thing.
Get through it on the other side. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, and yeah, okay, I'm sorry. So that was a long time on that one little thing.
That was the image. You want to talk about inadequacy? It kind of ties back into this, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, fear of not being good enough, basically, and that kind of goes into imposter syndrome. I think can be fear of success and fear of failure, or fear of failure and fear of success.
Correct.
Well, it doesn't matter how I say it; it's the same thing both times.
Well, this is the order that it comes in. Fear of failure, I think, first. And then once you start to succeed, sometimes we hold ourselves back because it's like, whoa, now I'm scared that I'm... So what do you think is the driver of the fear of success? What do you think drives that?
Well, for me, I realized what it was, and it may be different for different people. So for me, it was, I was very afraid that I was going to be out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
So success to me went back to, like, grind. You got to do, you got to work 24/7. You got to breathe, eat, breathe, and sleep, work, and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, and, success means that I'm out of balance. Well, all of a sudden it hit me, and this was during a coaching session with Keith, the guy that I tell you. So he was asking me about, what are you afraid of? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to be out of balance. And then I started remembering the person who told me I was out of balance, that I believed, like, I don't even think that's true anymore. I don't think I was out of balance.
Right.
And I got a tattoo about balance, and I'm like, I believed what somebody else was telling me, and I don't think I was out of balance.
You were not self-aware. Back into that. You didn't know yourself enough, so when somebody came along and told you something about you, it's easier to believe what people say about us when we don't know ourselves.
Oh.
That was so good.
Somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. That was so good.
But Diana said, if you're not getting your ass kicked, I'm not interested in your feedback. That's the Brenda Brown quote.
That's it. And who did the man in the arena?
That's what it was. That's when she said that. And Shelley Dryman said, yeah, that was Brenda Brown. She said, if you're not if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked, I'm not interested in your feedback.
Yeah, but there was a man. The quote came from a great big long.
That's what Shelley was saying. That is the whole story about the man in the arena.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So yeah. Awesome.
I forgot what I said, but it was good. Somebody write it down.
It's awesome. I totally forgot already.
So the next one was irksome. How irksome it is to fail. Oh no, we jumped to success.
Well, can we stay on imposter syndrome for a minute? Because I think that's a big one.
It's huge for me.
So, like, you know what imposter syndrome is comparing yourself to other people. Absolutely. And 9 times out of 10, we're comparing where we are to what a person presents in the world. Woo! Like, we're not even presenting it authentically.
That is very, very true. Especially since the guidepost for other people's lives and everything right now is social media. Right. And I have been, when I was married, I have been that person who I'm sitting here and it's me and my husband and we're like, hey, we like booed up. Like, and then we get out the phone and he's like, shut up. And I'm like, fuck you. And it's like, ooh, did I say the F word? Oh, sorry. But anyway, that was us. And to the world, we were like, everybody was like, Brenda and Tim, they're awesome. They're a great couple. We hated each other. We could not stand each other. And we were, it was awful. but nobody knew that. And if anybody was judging their marriage by what we were putting on social media, we're not going to put on social media we just got into a fight. You know what I mean?
Some people do, and you don't want to follow that. I mean,
I don't want that.
I think it's just comparing to anything, like knowing that we're all on our own path, we're all on our own journey, and maybe somebody is in a super happy marriage and your relationship is not, or whatever. I don't know, I just think that it's the thief of joy, like they say. That comparison is the thief of joy.
It's also like when we talk about the Lao Tzu quote.
Yes.
Like, if you're living in the present, accept where you are, understand where you are, live through what you're living through right now, instead of trying to compare yourself again to this other person. Like, worry about what you're doing and where you are.
And I think one of the things we can talk about too is like when we decided with Steer to do the different flavors. Mm-hmm. Like, there are different flavors because, like, to me, there's no right or wrong. It just is.
To Steer?
No, just in general, in life. Like, as long as you're not hurting people, I can't really say...
I agree.
...what you're doing is wrong or right. Like, it just is what you're doing.
But my thing is, nor do I want to. Do you know what I mean? Nor do I want to waste my time worrying about what you're doing and whether what you're doing is right or wrong.
Yeah, so really the only competition and comparison that we should have is to ourselves yesterday.
That's what I always say. That's my only I just want to be better than that chick.
I never heard you say that.
I posted it.
Oh. Just kidding.
I posted it on my Facebook one time.
You do always say that. No, yeah, sorry.
I lost our whole train of thought.
Listen, what are we
got one train of thought. What are we thinking, Kat?
Last night we went to Pechacucha in downtown Akron, and we started singing. What did we sing at the exact same time? Do you remember?
That was yesterday.
Was it a commercial maybe? I feel like it was a commercial or something. I don't know, but we both sang it in the same tone at the exact same time, like this whole big
It was pretty
thing.
funny.
It was funny. All right, so fear of success, that, like, for me, it was that I was going to be out of balance. What about you?
I don't know that I have a fear of success, but I do. I have a fear about, I wish that I could relay what I wanted to relay without being on the front line, because success for me means lots of speaking, lots of talking to people, lots of telling people, and I never wanted to be that. I never wanted to be in the limelight. And it was because I didn't want people to be critical of me. It was because I did care what people thought, and I didn't want, like, you ever go like on YouTube and somebody's saying something really good. It's like Brenda Brown or somebody, and somebody's like, her haircut sucks, and I'm like, why are you worried about what her haircut looks like? So I didn't want to be judged by people, my appearance.
So a fear of success is that people might judge you, and then you stopped caring what people thought, right?
For the most part. I still struggle with it sometimes. Yeah,
I do too, but I think we all do, and then I think you drive over that speed bump.
Exactly, and that's what it is. It's like a speed. It still comes to mind, but I kind of go, well, I got a mission. I got something that I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm going to do it. But even to go back, like with imposter syndrome, that's something that I still struggle with, like almost daily. Like, I just had the conversation in my in the interview for the organization that I had to interview for, and I told them I wanted to apply last year, but like watching the people who are on there and all the stuff that they're doing, I was like, who am I to be?
And how many people have told you when they find you on social media and they're like, I wanted to reach out to you, but I didn't because you look like blah blah blah.
That's so crazy to me.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we all do that. We all look at somebody and go, oh, they must be super successful. And I'm not saying that they're not, but I want to go back to what you said too, that success for you meant being in front of the camera or whatever. Like, I think fear of success also means you have to define what success means to you.
Ooh,
what does success?
Absolutely.
Like, we just finished our first year in business, and like one of the things that, there's certain measurables. Okay, I am on the highway. I need to go faster now.
Yeah,
I'm
40's not going to cut it.
So I'm going to set the little speedometer.
The speedometer.
The speedometer. Here we go again. So I think it's how you define success, because I know a lot of people that wouldn't define success that way. They would define it, like, I think about writers on Saturday Night Live. Like, those people are probably the most successful people, in my opinion, in comedy, and marketing who write these amazing commercials and you never know who they are. They're successful.
But even for this, I don't think I set out, like, that wasn't my goal. That wasn't my vision for success. That's kind of when we started doing what we do, what success started to morph into. The more people we can get our message in front of, the more people we help. And that's going to require being out, you know what I mean, like in front of people.
So it also then would depend on what your mission is.
Right. So it also depends on your mission and exactly what it is you hope to accomplish in life, in business, or whatever it is that you have that fear of success about.
Yeah.
I've never really thought fear of success was a thing until we kind of started talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's stupid. Like, who would be afraid to be successful? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I started realizing all these little self-sabotaging things that I was doing that to prevent myself from being successful. Some things that I'm still working to overcome, like not going live as often as I probably should and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, me too. Yeah, I definitely have some things.
Oh, Dana said success is a personal decision and definition. Absolutely.
It is. And I think, like, even coming back to fear, you know, it's how you define, like how you define fear even. Like, what we talk about, like, the scary, the excited, you call it?
Oh, nervous guided?
Nervous guided. So, like, for me, I love to do, like, I did Disrupt HR, which was, like, getting in front of a lot of people. I've spoken in front of, like, up to 1,500 people. Mm-hmm. It actually is harder for me to stand up in front of a room of, like, 20 than it is a room of 1,500. I still don't quite understand that, other than the intimacy that I can look directly at the people. I don't really know. But it's something weird that happens to me when I'm, like, a smaller group. But anyway, that feeling of fear, I could either feel that and be like, I don't want to do that, or I can do it and know that I'm about to do something really exciting. Like fear, and I've redefined it. Because feelings cause vibrations in our body, and
here we go. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So that vibrate, like, for me, when I feel that, I'm like, it's scary. No, it's exciting. This is excitement. So
you changed the definition for you.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, for me, I don't know what happens. Like, I'm absolutely nervous, butterflies, everything before it's time for me to speak or before it's time for me to do anything where I know that I'm going to be the primary focus. But once I step into that spotlight, once I step into that place, then all of the fear, all of the anxiety, everything goes away, and I'm just kind of on. And then afterward, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah, but don't you think that's because the message isn't really, it's through us, not of us? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think when you're driven by a bigger mission, just in general, it does help. Now, the other thing that I wanted to touch on, and then I do want to see if anybody has any questions or anything. Sorry.
Is that you who call those road ferns? Somebody calls that road ferns. Somebody said they call it road ferns.
I don't know. But I don't know why I did the okay. So fear, the other thing that drives me in terms of fear is fear that I won't do something. Fear of regret drives me. So
dude,
that's, and when Michelle Woods passed away, that was something that was so huge for me. When I had that, like, I was in prayer and meditation and really mourning, and I heard the 6 words that were live louder, love harder, dream bigger.
Yes.
Because I was like, she lived, like, her life was big, you know, she did a lot, but that's what I heard, like, live louder, love harder, dream bigger. And it was like, what if, we don't know if tomorrow's gonna come.
Absolutely.
So I think what is, and you know, there are people who talked about, like, when they interview older people, the biggest thing that people talk about, like, on their deathbed, and I regret not doing XYZ, and you know what, I'm like 99.9% sure nobody's ever said I regret not having a cleaner house.
Right.
So we should just let the dishes pile up.
Right.
And go live our dreams.
Well, that goes to what I was about to say about balance. Because any of this stuff could become an excuse to either do or not do something. Your fear of success can stop you from succeeding. Your fear of regret can make you so like you're doing like ridiculously daredevil things that just aren't healthy or intelligent. So just reminding that everything in balance and figuring out what that balance is for your life and what it is that you're trying to succeed.
And that goes all back to self-reflection or self-awareness. So
Jackie Starr said, hello from Ohio. We're in Ohio too. Hey, Jackie. Charles said, our feelings are not necessarily facts. Is that what your shirt says? Oh, don't believe everything.
Don't believe everything you think.
Aren't facts.
Yeah, I want to get it. I want to do that on a shirt too. Feelings aren't facts.
Jackie Starr said, anxiety is for real. Yes, it is.
It is.
And it helps with what we're saying. Awesome. So, and Jackie shared. Thank you, Jackie. You're going to go into the drawing for next week. So make sure you come back next week and watch.
So anxiety. Can we talk about that? Can we use this as our last question? Because we're getting close to getting off the thing.
Sure.
So I know I've had anxiety attacks.
Oh, yeah.
You've had anxiety attacks.
Lived in a state of anxiety attack for a long time.
I think that's important. Do you mind sharing that?
I do not. There was almost 2 years to where I was actually agoraphobic. The thought of stepping outside, any attempt to step outside, it just wasn't possible for me. It was overwhelming. I would start to have an actual panic attack. So I didn't leave my house for, oh God, it was almost 2 years. So
I just had an aha moment. So to me, you talking about like being in front of people and that tonight, by the way, you're going to be, or this afternoon, you're
right. I'm going to be emceeing
an event.
A gala, right.
Where you're like, so she's like going to be the one emceeing the whole thing. So to go from being afraid to step out and having anxiety attacks to where you are now, like, I think it's important to know, yes, anxiety is real. It is.
It's still real. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's been a while since I've had an anxiety attack. The last one I had, I actually woke up in the middle of the night with it, and thank goodness I was supposed to go see my friend Tracy in Columbus, Tracy Schroyer, and I had so much on my plate that the thought of leaving and going and doing that woke me up in a panic. And I told her, and I thought for sure she was going to say, like kind of be upset with me about it, because we literally had planned this for months, and she said, that must have been scary for you. And to have, like, I literally cried.
That's a friend right there.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Because some people don't understand. They just don't get it.
Right. And it is so real. And, like, I had to talk myself through, I'm not going to die, because that's the first thing I thought with an anxiety attack. Like, the first one I had, I was
feels like you're going to die.
Am I dying? Like, I can't breathe. I'm not going to catch my breath. But, yeah, I think steering through it and, like, what am I thinking? And part of it is getting out of your amygdala hijack, because that's where you are.
Right.
You're in your amygdala, like, da-da-da-da-da, like, I'm good. I'm about to die. So you're in, like, kind of a panic stage.
Right.
And getting into the front part of your brain and going, what am I thinking? Is this true, helpful, inspiring, necessary? Is this true? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of how to get over anxiety and how to steer some of it.
Absolutely. Or even working from a preventive standpoint. Again, this is fear and anxiety is something that Will Smith talks about a lot, and I'm kind of addicted to his lives and stuff. But he talked about fear and about how once you realize how absolutely useless fear is in most cases, he was talking about, like, that moment of fear before you get ready to do something.
Yeah.
Why are you afraid right now? He's like, he was going skydiving, and he's like, woke up all panicked in his bed, and he's like, what is this fear right now that I'm experiencing? Like, sure, maybe when I'm getting ready to jump out of the plane, it would make sense to have a little bit of fear right there, but right now, as I'm laying in my bed, why am I experiencing fear and I'm not even there yet?
That's the Lao Tzu quote.
Right.
Anxiety is worried about when you're living in the future.
Right. And wow. Jackie Starr said, overthinking for real. That's exactly what it is. She said, yes, I don't want to leave my house. I have 3 kids, a doctor's appointment, so on, and it makes her feel bad because she acted extra beforehand. Well, it's not acting extra, Jackie. It's really not at all. Because there are still times to where I have something that I have to do. And when people talk about, like, when I just say, I just can't people today. I can't people today.
What
I'm not
does your
able
shirt
to.
Say?
So my shirt says, I don't like morning people or mornings or people. So, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just that anxiety, like you said, coming from a place where I didn't even want to leave my house. Like, I wouldn't open my door for people. It was really horrible. It was really bad. But coming from that place.
I don't open my Oh, but these
like,
were people that you know.
Right.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking about like if a stranger.
No, it was, I was really, really, really isolated.
Have you seen the thing where the guy's like how it used to be on when somebody come to the door, everybody be like, oh, I'm going to bring out like my Edmonds and all that kind of stuff. And then now somebody's like, everybody down, everybody hide.
Be quiet.
Somebody's at the door.
Yeah. Especially if you didn't call first.
Yeah.
Don't come over my house if you didn't call first. But anyway, so I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh,
it was deep too. I was about to get deep, girl.
You were afraid to leave. Sometimes you still don't like to.
Yeah. So now there are times to where I'm sure for the people who do not know me very well, I could probably come off as a complete flake, because there are times where I'm like, yay, let's do that. I want to do it. Let's go. And then the day comes and I'm like, I don't want to go.
I feel like that's an introvert.
And sometimes sometimes I can push myself to do it, but sometimes I physically can't. I'm just physically unable to can.
Yeah, and I also think there are certain things, like let's say, you've committed to do this MC thing tonight, and if you start to have those feelings,
which I have.
Well, and I think it's important to know there are some things to push through, and some things it's just you don't have to, and I think it's also important to surround ourselves with people who understand that. Like I said, with Tracy saying that to me, and you don't want to flake on everyone, and then that's when you learn not to overcommit too.
Right.
Like I used to say yes to everything, and now I'm like, let me think about that. Or check that, or whatever.
I give disclaimers. Like if I'm having some wine or something, if I'm drinking, I'll go. If you ask me anything tonight, I'm probably gonna say yes, I'll go.
Oh,
but
that's
I don't. I used to have to like tell my goddaughter, like if Godmom tells you that she's coming to get you tomorrow in this moment, don't believe Godmom. She'll call you tomorrow.
That's funny. Yeah.
Everything is yes. After about 2 glasses of wine, of course I'll do that for you. Yeah, I'd love to help you clean your entire house. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, so I think it's important to know what to push through, because we do. It real life is you do have to push through some things.
Absolutely.
Not everything.
Not everything at all.
And
you have to know healthy. I guess at some point we'll talk about setting healthy boundaries. Like knowing exactly what is too much for you. At what point does it become unhealthy for you to be yesing everybody to death and actually trying to get all that stuff done? So. Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's, if there are some things you want us to talk about, if healthy boundaries is one of them, if there are any topics, like our website is SYLC which is SYLC.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Consulting.com. And we do have all of our, what our workshops are. So we would talk on any of those topics. But if there's one on there that you don't see that you'd like for us to talk about too, basically what we talk about doing, or what we talk about is we've got a program that helps you really learn how to develop your emotional intelligence.
Whoa.
So if there is an area that you're like, I feel stuck, I don't know how to get out of this, or I don't know how to move forward, or, this situation is one that's plaguing me, tell us what the situation is, and it could be a topic of one of the upcoming shows.
Oh yeah, we'd love it.
I think so.
Charles said it's rattling like crazy.
Oh man.
We were on the
yeah, it was the
brick road.
Yeah, so we know not to go that way.
Yeah,
probably better on the highway.
Yep.
All right. So what else do we have? I think we're good. We are good on time.
We are good on time. Don't forget to share #share the drive, so you can go into the drawing for next week, and you can win whatever we're giving away next week. I don't know what we're giving away next week. So
I have an idea, but I won't say it yet.
An idea?
I do.
What is it?
It's a gift card.
Okay.
I forget but it would have
you
to
can
be
win a gift card.
but it has to be someone local. So if it's not a local person, it wouldn't.
Oh, so we'll see. We'll tell you what you win next week. #share the drive. If you have any questions, you can put them down in the comments. You can inbox us. You can do anything. If you have any topic ideas, feel free to share those, because we would love to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, and make sure to set up notifications if you're not friend. We're gonna try to do it where we go live on both of our pages next week. And
that too?
Yeah, and okay. What were you afraid of just now?
How you gonna put me on the spot?
Oh.
I don't know. I'll explore that. Well,
okay.
I don't know. It
we got to set it up. We got to set up the equipment. We got to set
that
up
I'm like, we got to get the thingy jacket.
So
we got to do all that stuff. It just sounds like work.
Yeah.
More work. Okay.
But anyway, so I forgot what I was saying. So yeah, make sure that you're friend us on Facebook, but we're also going to upload these to YouTube too, but you'll get set up notifications, but we're doing it at 10 a.m. every Saturday. Subscribe
on YouTube.
Oh yeah. I haven't even thought about that, asking people to subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah. We're going to get our YouTube page jumping. Ultimately, we'll be going live on multiple platforms once we get really good. So watch out for that.
Yeah, we fix things like rattles and all that. So thank you guys. I'm so glad you're here. And I cannot see any of the comments. Obviously, I shouldn't be while I'm driving anyway, but I can't.
So we will be back next week, same day, same time.